Hey guys, we have a gift for you. But first, let me introduce the members in our group. I am Danny, and we have Willow, Tony, and Andy. Today, we are going to talk about coronavirus. The first confirmed patients were discovered in November 17th in China this year. Instead of notifying WHO right away, China notified until January 9th this year, and the virus began to spread to Japan and Thailand in January 13th. Our country emerged the first confirmed cases in January 20th. So far, America had 90 million people confirmed and 5 million of deaths. Both are tops in the world.
At first, the outside world didn't know much about the virus. Many people thought that the virus may be related to the Wuhan Virus Research Institute near the South China seafood market, without providing a specific scientific evidence. The question is the biochemical weapon. The Chinese government's research institutes and other official agencies have immediately dismissed this unconfirmed fake news. Where did the new coronavirus come from? Now the US and China war of words, both sides against the source of the virus. Recently, a number of air-to-air exchange of fire. US President Donald Trump says the new virus originated in China in the first place, but Foreign Ministry spokesman Charlie Jin tweeted a message suspecting US service members brought the virus into Wuhan, but gave no clear evidence that the US military may have been at last year's World Military Games.
COVID-19 is epidemic that even more in an uproar. In fact, the vibe here is inevitable that it will cause us to worry. Anxiety is including worry, tension, and fear. Too much anxiety that will bring emotional pain, mistake of perception, and physically discomfort. Humanity faces an unknown epidemic that causes anxiety. Of course, everyone will be afraid, because for a long time, that too much fear gradually overtaken our rationality. As for the issue about death, it is accompanied by the greatest test of the human nature.
A substantial increase in global employment seems almost certain. The ILO expects the pandemic to disproportionately affect not only those workers with underlying health conditions, but also young people who are more vulnerable to decreased labor demand. Women who are overrepresented in those sectors that are likely to be affected most, as well as unprotected workers in the so-called gig economic and migrant emerging market countries are particularly vulnerable. In the midst of the economic crisis, consumption has fallen and factory starts have fallen, meaning that local workers will be cut or even laid off their income stacks, which will further reduce demand and consumption. The economy is thus caught in a vicious circle. For emerging market countries, the blow was particularly acute. because when global markets are volatile, investors usually exit emerging markets first. These countries are facing not only a large outflow of foreign capital, but also an economic pause after the outbreak, which could be hit by a tight fiscal situation.
At the first time, the inability of Chinese government caused the threat to President Xi. Moreover, there was even a wave asking for the freedom of the speech hashtagging on the internet. But all of the comments had been wiped out by the government. Therefore, the Chinese government sent out their military aircraft to circle Taiwan more frequently at this moment. We think that is President Xi showing his military muscles to his political opponent, warning that, "Don't forget I still have the control of the military. Don't act rashly to fight for the throne." While Chinese government took advantage of this situation to compete with America, like donating masks to the country in Europe. That is all want to create a new international leader image. In the other words, there will be an impact to America's status.
Fake news. How dangerous is fake news? A published research report showed that all kinds of fake news on the internet will make the current out-of-control epidemic worse. One of the core leaders of the study, Paul Hunter, a professor of medicine at the University of East Anglia in UK, said, "Fake news will allow the wrong advice to spread quickly and will allow people to take high-risk behavior." The research team established a disease's transmission mode, and after considering factors such as the spread of different diseases and the habit of people using social media, they found that as long as 10% of false news about the epidemic is reduced, and 20% of people reduce the spread of false news, you can have the positive impact on the epidemic. Why is there global war of toilet paper buying? Wuhan virus is spreading all over the world because of the epidemic. The supply of masks to prevent virus is in short supply, resulting in a lot of people who want to buy a mask to light up in front of the premises. In this regard, according to the BBC report, Professor Grace of Griffith University in Australia said, "When people see empty shelves, they will start to panic because the position of toilet paper on shelves is relatively conspicuous." And Associate Professor Greg, University of New South Wales, said, "No one knows how the coronavirus epidemic will go. It will worsen in the end. Therefore, a large number of people want to be prepared, because this is the only thing they can control by themselves."
Taiwan's medical system is very completed. 99.9% of people are covered by health insurance. That medical information can be more completed. Government can quickly use the relevant entry and medical information that facilitate the understanding of the diagnosis or related medical conditions. The government fully levied masks, and NHI card or resident certificates are required to purchase masks. At first, China's masks were unregulated, and the epidemic area was seriously lacking. Taiwan is honest and open to the epidemic, prevent false message. The China government spread false news to conceal the seriousness of the epidemic. We have experience with SARS, so we are great coordination of health management and other measures. China missed the main time that caused large-scale infections.
How individuals respond. You should wash hands frequently, wear mask when going out, maintain social distance with people, avoid going to public place, and pay attention to your health.
In the effect of this pandemic, most countries began to realize the evil essence of the Chinese government, including hidden pandemic, delayed notification, and every country saw the consequences that what if an international organization stand too close to China. So, America fired the first shot, started to look into China and investigate the origin of the virus. Many countries said that they would rethought the relationships between China. At the same time, many members in the Belt and Road Plan had also expressed their dissatisfied. After all, the Chinese government will have a hard time after this outbreak.